Hello, everyone. This is Bayo Olaronto, author, consultant, and peak performance coach, and creator of Happy Holidays Hot Body 12-week online course. This is our special interview series with some of the best health and fitness experts and life coaches in the wellness industry. And as you know, we're keeping you happy, having fun, and just keeping you hot during the holidays. Today, we have an outstanding personal trainer and fitness coach, Rahz. He's the founder of Breakthrough to Fitness, which is a full-service health and nutrition coaching company specializing in creating dynamic results with men and women who are CEOs, top-level business professionals, and ex-athletes. He specializes in women who are over 40, and particularly those who have hormonal issues. And he's been dedicated to health and fitness for the past 12 years, and he's a strategic corporate health coach, inspirational speaker, amateur bodybuilder, and he's the creator of the MetaBurn fat loss system, which is a unique system with his MetaBurn fat loss studio in Locust Valley, New York, out in Long Island. And basically his MetaBurn fat loss system is a fitness program that includes top-notch fitness instructions, nutritional coaching, and motivational training. And Rahz is certified as a NASM trainer, ACE, ISSA, and a JSL wellness coach. So welcome to the call, Rahz. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to being here and sharing some information, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Definitely, man. I mean, I remember contacting you when I first moved to New York. I don't know where we met. Maybe it was online, but I definitely appreciated all the answers you had for my questions, and I've seen your career skyrocket. I mean, you've built some powerful brands. And how did you get into personal training initially, and how did all this start for you?
Well, we got to take it back a little bit further. I was born with my right leg shorter than the other. I have no quadriceps or hamstring on my right leg.
Right.
And so a birth defect actually got me motivated to be fit and health and conscious. And someone once told me that this wasn't the profession for me because I didn't look like a personal trainer. I wasn't tall. I didn't have blonde hair, blue eyes. And that was what they thought was the ideal personal trainer at the time. It got me motivated, and I decided to not allow them to dictate my future. Got certified with my first certification, American Council on Exercise, and that was over 15 years ago. The rest is history. You know, thousands of clients all over the world, and I've been able to inspire and motivate them to change their lives and their minds through understanding that their bodies is a great instrument.
That's an amazing story. I mean, that's just showing you that when you focus on the right things, you can really accomplish anything, you know, just looking at what you can do versus what you can't do. I'm sure you impart that to your clients as well.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit more about Breakthrough to Fitness and then how you got into the MetaBurn fat loss system, how you guys created that.
Sure. Well, Breakthrough to Fitness is the mother company for my all of my other health and wellness brands. And I started that back in 2007. It became I wanted to manifest a company that really focused on three aspects, you know, exercise, nutrition, and really the mindset of putting it all together so that you could feel good from the inside out. I have a business partner. His name's Greg Califatic, a.k.a. Mr. Nutrition. And we were both training in the big box gyms in New York, and we decided we're going to go out and do our own thing. We weren't seeing the industry shifting in the way we wanted to. And we wanted to focus on specifically women and some of their needs that weren't being catered to with these big overall programs. And that's what spawned MetaBurn, which is metabolism and burning fat. So we combined those two words to come up with the MetaBurn fat loss system, which over the last 6 years is responsible for over 2,800 pounds of fat loss for women in the North Shore, Long Island area.
Wow, that's nice that you guys have tallied that and calculated that impact.
Absolutely. It's been great.
So you really focused, and that's one thing that's really amazing about what you do is because you really help this certain segment of the population. And I know you do a lot of work with women who are over 40 who may be having these unique challenges. Let's start with, first of all, what are some of the unique issues that these women face with not eating properly, especially during the holidays? And how can binge eating or overeating affect some of these issues, particularly hormonal imbalances?
That's a great question. I mean, some of the issues that women face today, are emotional eating. They are dealing with being stressed out, especially during the holidays. You know, there are a lot going on. They're stay-at-home moms, they're career moms, they're soccer moms, they're going all over driving, they're trying shopping, they're cooking and taking care of their families, and they're trying to squeeze in a little bit of time for themselves, which is that exercise, and usually gets pushed to the back. So that's one of the main issues, and then they start to not focus on themselves. As they enable their families to live healthy, happy lives, they're falling behind. They're not happy with themselves, the way they look, the way they feel. Their energy levels are dipping, and they really need some help, and that's what we do. We give them the simple system that they can follow step by step. This allows them to not only reach their fitness goals, but internally motivate them to stay confident and healthy throughout the holiday season.
Yeah, it's definitely a pattern that I've noticed with some of my clients. Of course, I've had both male and female and all types of clients, but particularly women who are both working. They may have kids. They're going into their golden years, let's say, some of them, and they're really looking for ways that they can exercise, stay fit, but still do a lot of the traditional things during the holidays. What are some of the strategic methods of cardio and resistance you recommend to them who are women over 40?
Some of the things that we recommend, and we don't believe in a cookie-cutter approach to any person, but we really believe that, women over 40, lifting weights is crucial to, and when I say resistance weight, we're not talking pink nylon dumbbells. Our women lift weights, heavy weights, we're talking 15 to 30 to 40 pounds dumbbells. They're kettlebelling it up, and they're doing it in a high-intensity fashion that's safe for their fitness level. So a lot of people are throwing the word high-intensity training out there or interval training, but if you're not fit for that and you have not gone through the proper progression, you're going to be injured, and that's not what they need, especially when they're going through those, like you said, those mature years where hormonally their bodies are already out of whack in a fight or flight state. They really need to understand that they have to progress properly so that they don't increase cortisone levels, which we know is a precursor to body fat. So it's really crucial. I'd say interval training is one thing they definitely want to do, but do it properly for their health and their fitness level, and training with resistance so that they can boost their metabolism through increasing lean muscle as opposed to body fat.
Right, and I mean, I know that a lot of women have that misconception that if they lift that heavy, then somehow they're going to, gain this bulky muscle mass. And I've always reminded them that, hey, your hormonal levels are different than men, and it's actually okay for you to lift a little bit heavier. Would you agree with that?
100%. I would agree with that. And to add to that, it's not chemically designed to add muscle the way men are. So they don't really have to worry about it. There's a small percentage of women who can actually create the muscle stimulation to gain hypertrophy or increase muscle mass quickly. Most women will become leaner, but what they tend to feel is that when they get the pump, that increased blood flow around their arms or their legs, and they put their jeans on or something, they automatically think I'm getting bulky, when that's just the actual training stimulus, and it will go away. But more importantly, if they have high body fat percentage, then it's going to look like that. And yes, their jeans are going to be tighter. Their bra straps are going to be a little bit tighter. But as time goes on, 12 weeks, 24 weeks down the road, when they lower their body fat, increase their lean muscle, they're going to look totally different because their body composition has shifted.
Right. They're building the machine under the fat. They're building the machine of the muscle that then is going to speed up that metabolism.
Absolutely. That's well said. I like that.
Yeah, I think of the word, when I think of MetaBurn fat loss, it's just you're bringing together the natural composition of the body, the mechanisms that are going to help them burn the fat, and then obviously the fat is lost. So, of course, nutrition is a huge part of this. What kind of nutrition advice do you give them that's unique to them who are working with some of your programs?
Sure. As an amateur bodybuilder and collegiate wrestling, amateur wrestler, I've gone through and tried, tested every diet underneath the sun. And what we find for women who specifically are over 40 is a kind of a mix between a paleo-ish type meals and I see moderate carbohydrates and a good healthy fat intake. So your macro breakdown is really a little bit different than most. and they can't traditionally do what, many of they did when they were in their 20s and early 30s, where a lot of dieters are, they lower their carbs to almost zero. They lower their fat and they think, oh, this is the best way. Ideally, they need good, healthy fats, which are going to help produce hormones, boosting their hormone levels and balancing them out, which is key. Then they need the carbohydrates in order for their body to build the muscle as well as have the right energy to do the activities they want to do on a daily basis without having energy lows.
Right. So what would you say that breakdown would be, fats, carbs, and proteins, just in general?
If we were going to look at a percentage, I usually tell people they want to be somewhere around that third.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, about 30% for fat, I would definitely say. Protein, we want it to be a little bit higher. I'd say about 40, 50, depending on, and that's high for a lot of women. They don't realize that, but we're not having them take in 3,000 calories. But we want that to be in the 50% range, and then we're going to lower that, the carbohydrates to the 20%. And it's good carbohydrates. When I talk about good carbohydrates, I know we'll get into this a little bit deeper, but it's really the difference between, basic grains, starches, or fibrous carbohydrates. We let our clients eat all the fibrous carbohydrates they want. Anything that was alive, greens, spinach, kale, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, you name it, you can eat. There's no cutoff. But we don't want them to be gorging on potato chips and rice and pastas, things that their body is going to throw their insulin levels out of whack, which then when the insulin is out of whack, they're going to have storage fat.
That brings me to a really good question. Before the holidays here, a lot of families are going to have a lot of those very snack foods around. And before these meals, obviously the traditional Thanksgiving meal, usually consists of a lot of turkey. There's also vegetables and carbs. And one thing I've recommended to women over the years is that, if you can eat some of your vegetables and the protein first, I should say, then you're not going to put when you eat the carbs later, you won't fill up on the carbs first. You'll kind of get some of the essential things first. Are there any other kind of ideas you have about how to kind of avoid those snacks or maybe some replacement snacks, and then how to eat the Thanksgiving meal a little bit more sanely for their program?
Yeah, that what you just said there is really ideal. I agree with you. Go in there, try to get some of the good fibrous carbohydrates in your body first. Some of those good vegetables that you're going to have, salads, things like that. Then get your lean protein, get your turkey or a slice of lean ham. Get that, and then you want to go and move towards that. We all want a little bit of stuffing or some sweet potatoes, which is okay. But one of the things that we tell people is that you don't want to eat until you are stuffed. And that's the key. Eat enough, give yourself a 20 to 30 minute break and see if you're still hungry for all that food. A lot of times people will eat and then they'll eat and then they'll just keep eating, and they're not giving their bodies enough time to actually go through the digestive process and start to actually signal the brain that you're full. You bypass what we call run through the full stop sign, and you just keep going. And if you do that quick enough, the body will just allow you to consume more and more.
Yeah, and then that produces that really bad bloated feeling. And obviously that's the funny thing is, to have enjoyment during the holidays. You want your body to feel good, and then, obviously that's going to affect the emotional levels, right? If you eat moderately and you enjoy the food and you're able to kind of stop at a certain point, I think they'll have a much more enjoyable experience, right, than that after effect.
Oh, for sure. Especially we all know the thickness of the food, the turkey with the tryptophan, getting tired or getting, what some people call sleepyitis. It's really very difficult if you overeat. But one tip that we always tell all of our clients is that it's important if you can wake up early on Thanksgiving, and we're talking about the holiday. This Thanksgiving is the first holiday right now. If they can wake up early and go for a nice power walk or run, get your metabolism fired up from the jump. That's going to allow your body to not only process and break down some of those processed carbohydrates you're going to eat later in the day, but also just metabolize and start the digestive process a lot better. Then, immediately after eating a big meal, go for a short walk. That is crucial for not only burning some of those calories, but stimulating so that you bypass that tired feeling and right into that energetic feeling after you eat. And this will allow your body to not store fat at the capacity that it can if you just sit down and start watching what we all do, is that watching that football game.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's really good advice, and I really like the fact that you guys really have a nice scientific basis. And obviously, scientific testing can also play an important role in your method. What are some of the unique ways that you use testing to help your clients?
Great question. A lot of our clients come to us and they are already kind of, we do what's called a fitness evaluation. So we want to see them move, see where their body is currently at. And then additionally, we use what's called the Teneta scale, which is going to give us 3 indications that's very important. 1 is their body fat. 2 is their actual weight. And 3 is their hydration levels. Because a lot of people think they're drinking a lot of water and they're feeling hydrated. But the fact of the matter is that they're not. Their body is not actually extracting enough of the nutrients from their water and things they're drinking to actually sustain hydration. So they're tired. They're feeling hungry. They're feeling achy. And they're confused a lot. And this is a main indication. Women should have at least between 48 and 55% hydration levels at all time. And I've seen as low as 30, 32%. And when that happens, that's an indication 2 things. The metabolism isn't working and digestion isn't happening. And if you're not digesting the foods properly, we know that a lot of the nutrients that you think you're getting is actually being excreted out as waste.
Wow. Now, what's the name of that test again, just for the listeners to hear again?
Yeah, for the listeners, if you're looking to go and pick up, you can go anywhere that they have a Teneta scale, which is going to give you 3 main data points. 1 is going to give you your actual weight, your hydration levels, and your body fat. And your body fat percentage is crucial because as you get leaner, we want that number to come down. So it should be a direct reflection to losing weight, losing body fat, and increasing your hydration levels.
And how do you spell that again? Is it with a C or a T?
T. It's Tanita. Teneta.
Teneta. Great. Okay, so let's say that they do take that, some of those measurements. What would be, I don't know if you have the numbers now, but what would be some of the good numbers for that, and what would be not so good, and then what steps should they take if they recognize, like, whoa, these numbers are really off?
Sure. Like I said, when it comes to actual weight, I don't believe there's a specific weight for anyone because every body type is different. So that's why a cookie cutter program isn't going to work specifically. You need to be working with an expert like yourself or myself or somebody that you know that's going to look at your body type and really give you an ideal breakdown of what it should be. Now, if you're a female and you're between the ages of, say, 40 and 59, a good body fat percentage would be somewhere in the number of 23 to 30. Now, you got to remember that these numbers are taken as a range from all over the country, but you want to be in the lower spectrum because that's the healthy area that you want to be. You don't want to be at the top echelon of that mid-range, moderate to health level. So that's really important to understand. And then hydration levels, like I said, should be above 48%. Anything lower than that, we got to figure out why able to maintain a good hydration level. And it's not just drinking water, because you can drink a gallon of water, but if your body is in a fight or flight stage, you're just going to excrete it out through your urine, and you're not going to be able to sustain that water. You also get hydration from the foods you eat. Here are 2 foods that I recommend if you want to increase your hydration level. 1 is green peppers or bell peppers, and 2
green
is
peppers.
celery.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
And celery.
Now, these foods will help your body retain some of that water. You start to feel better, and your body can hold in some of the electrolytes like sodium, potassium, magnesium, all of those things that are really important overall. That's
a really great tip. So what other tests do you have that you use that help them with hormone stress levels? Or I guess these are tests that you can also recommend that they go to their doctor and get, or what would be some of the differences in those type of tests?
Absolutely. Now, these are tests that you have to go to a specific holistic practitioner. I'm a functional diagnostic nutritionist, FDN, and that allows me to actually test your hormonal balance through saliva testing. I can send out a kit, or you can reach out to another FDN in your area. But you can also get a blood test, but we highly recommend saliva. Here's why. If you take a saliva test, we're able to do it 4 times throughout the day. Once in the morning, mid-morning, afternoon, and evening. Now, we know that if you're looking for that big indicator, cortisol, that ranges change throughout the day. It's important to have the indication. If you do just blood work, then it's only that one time that you had your blood tested, and that's what most doctors, gynecologists will have you do, or your GP will have you take a blood test and say, oh, you're fine. But what if you took the test at 1 o'clock, but at 5 o'clock, your cortisone levels are through the roof? You need to know that, and you need to know what is creating that stimulus in your body or that response. So you can go to your doctor and find out, and most doctors will allow you to do this. You also want to go and get a glucose test or a glucometer yourself and test your glucose throughout the day to see where your blood sugar levels are. If they're fluctuating consistently up and down, low, high, that's an indication that you need to get that fixed. And if something in your macro breakdown isn't helping you sustain level blood sugar levels. When that happens, you're going to feel tired, lethargic, and you also will put your body in a fat storing mode rather than a fat burning mode.
So with this, let's go into the glucose a little bit, and a little more in layman's terms for them as well. So, I mean, okay, they're either one, consuming a lot of sugary items, or their blood sugar is low. And what would that be from, and what's happening there? What would be the differences between those two?
Sure, great question. Now, if they're consuming a lot of, starchy, processed, basically SAD, standard American diet, foods, what's going to happen is that their body is going to be producing insulin. And that's what happens when we take in these foods. It boosts up, and then your body will produce, that's to slow your blood sugar level down. Now, if you have low blood sugar levels, you're going to feel very kind of low, and you're not producing insulin at a good enough rate to help bring you out of that state. Now, most people aren't pre-diabetic unless they're obese or severely overweight. You will be able to know this, which is an easy indication if you exercise and you start to feel very faint quickly. This is an indication that you might have had a quick blood sugar, and then all you have to do is if you take in, say, an 8-ounce glass of orange juice or Gatorade and you feel better, boom, you know that your blood sugar levels drop quickly, and you want to get that. And a lot of people who don't eat enough fibers, green, healthy vegetables will have this type of reaction to training and through moving, if you do any type of high-intensity training. So it's important to just kind of get, if you're in that, you feel like you have at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you really need something to lift you up, a chocolate bar or something like that, you want to start to pay attention to your blood sugar levels. And ideal blood sugar levels on a fasting state should be somewhere in that 70 to 90 range in the morning, and it shouldn't go any higher than like 105 in the afternoon and throughout the day.
Yeah, that's a very, very key thing because we have a lot, like you said, it's sad sometimes in the American diet of the amount of sugar that we have and the amount of processed foods that we have in the grocery stores. What type of rituals and habits do you like to enforce that ensure more adherence to meal plans and workouts? And how can the average woman that's over 40 that's adapting some of this accountability for the holidays, how can she adhere to those rituals and habits?
Wow, that is a mouthful of a question there, man.
We can break that one down a little bit. First of all, let's just start with, let's say grocery shopping first, because that's obviously the first thing. What are you bringing into the house? Right.
Great question. Now, one thing I tell people is pick a day that you do your grocery shopping. Routine and structure is key to success. And you and I both are fans of Tony, so you know that it's all about your systems. You have to have systems for success. And so I tell people I go grocery shopping myself every Sunday at 11 a.m. Why? Because that is scheduled into my calendar. It allows me to put that time that I can go. I'm not stressed out. There's nothing else going on. I'm not rushing. So I'm not just grabbing things that are I don't need. I don't go to the grocery store hungry. That's two.
Great
and
idea.
I have a pre-written grocery list with my meals for the week. So I only buy the foods and the products that I need. Nice.
Okay, and so by adhering to that ritual for the grocery shopping, and I've written this in some of my material as well, what you're doing is you're setting up yourself for success, first of all, by doing the ritual of getting the right things into the household, right? I know this is another big thing that I recommend in our Happy Holidays program is the weekly food preparation. What do you do, when you brought all this stuff into the house, and tends to be that when you're eating a little more healthy, a lot of these items are things that you would have to prepare or put together. For example, if you have a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits and a lot of different various grains and meats, it's not like they're just quick fix foods. So what do we do to prepare for that week so these things are ready to go, ready to eat when it's time?
Absolutely. Well, preparation is the key. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We all know that. So here's what I tell people. You're not going to cook from Sunday to next Friday because the food isn't going to be fresh. You're not going to want to eat it. So I break it up into 2 shifts. You cook on Sunday night. You make enough protein that you can split it up. And you can actually, and by splitting it up, you're going to split it up into Tupperware. You lay your Tupperware out, and you want to have your 2 to 4 ounces of protein in all your Tupperware. And I usually tell pick at least three different proteins. You don't want to eat the same variety. So go with a white fish, a clean chicken, and maybe even a beef or a bison. You break that up. Then you cook your vegetables in bulk. You want to make several different vegetables in bulk. Great vegetables, kale, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cauliflower. And you can do this I love to bake it because you can put it on a baking tray. You can put 3 trays in there, boom. Sprinkle a little bit of olive oil, sea salt, and some pepper. You're good to go. In addition to that, then you want to take and make your brown rice. You can make a whole pot of brown rice, split that up into 1/4 cup, drop that in, and now you have your good healthy grain. And you spread that, and now you have about 5, 6 different meals. Put it in the refrigerator, make yourself one nice big salad, spread that out, and now you have meals right up until Wednesday. Wednesday you'll cook for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and you want to give yourself one free day, and that free day is where you can go out with your loved one, enjoy a healthy takeout meal, whether it's at a restaurant or with a party with a friend, because we want to be practical. We know that people are not going to live a hermit lifestyle. Not everyone is a super health enthusiast, and we want to. If you're going to adhere to anything, you need to have installed practices of having a good time. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, and the beautiful part about this is during the holidays. Let's see, Thanksgiving falls on what day this year? It falls on Thursday, right? This year for 2014. So during the holidays, I think you had a quote that you said before. Regarding the difference between a holiday. How does that go again?
Yeah, well, a lot of people think that the holidays, it's really a holiday, not a Holi-Month. And
yeah, I love that.
I tell my clients all the time, Thanksgiving is one day, and that's on the 27th of this month. Christmas is one day, but actually a lot of people celebrate on Christmas Eve, so we have 2 days. But that doesn't mean that you need to have an entire December party for yourself. It doesn't mean that from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve you should have every day eating like you haven't had your last meal. It's important that you want to spread that out, enjoy time with your family, your friends, and loved ones, but eat sensibly because you worked all year to attain the body and the health that you currently have. Why would you waste all that effort by throwing it away for 45 days.
Right, and if they apply this simple ritual, then they can use that day, the day of the holiday, as the normal day that you just kind of let go a little bit and have more fun with the friends and family. And then the weekend they can sort of get back to the more healthier, the foods that are the more into their plan. And the beautiful thing as well is that not only have they worked up to this fitness level, they don't want to just toss it out the window. They also don't want to have to start over in January, and I always talk about that in the program. We don't want to have to reinvent the wheel in January and try to come out of this, the habit of not even paying attention to the rituals.
Absolutely. And scientifically, it's shown that if you want to keep a leaner, healthier body, you need to reset your body. And that's where that cheat day I always tell people a cheat day is a cheat meal, not a cheat day where you just go and you throw in 5,000-6,000 calories of all with chocolate.
Right,
like that.
Don't go overboard
you
on
really got to be
that.
specific sometime, right? Yeah,
yeah, because they'll just race to the finish line as much as they can get in there before the next day.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you specifically motivate clients to get out of the old habit? I mean, you said the mantra, it's not a Holi-Month, it's a holiday. Do you have any other things like that? Do you help people to kind of keep that ringing in their ears?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I always tell people is it's your goals. If you set your goals and they're specific to what you want to accomplish, you're not going to be tempted. So here at MetaBurn, one of the key factors, and I know you probably have this installed into many of your programs as well, but is that if you set your goals, write them down everywhere. Make sure they're on your refrigerator. They're in your bathroom. They're inside your planner. They're on your screensaver. You want them right in front of you, because when you have your goals flush in front of you, when motivation wanes, that's when your goals will pull you through to the finish line. So it's crucial that you have those goals. Second thing I always tell people, is tell someone what you're going to do. Because if you make it and you proclaim where you're going and what you're doing, you don't want to go back and become a liar on what you said. So when I say, I'm going to lose this weight, or I'm going to run this 5K, I'm going to do it. And I know that everybody that I share that with are going to hold me accountable, because accountability will lead you through those tough times. We're all human. We're all going to have things hit us, parties, family, sicknesses, things happen. Don't beat yourself up. Understand that as long as you have your goals and you proclaim where you're going, if you slip, get up the next day, get back on that happy trail.
That's a great point, Rahz, because I think a lot of people who struggle with weight, and I've noticed this in some of my clients as well, sometimes when they fall off track, instead of it just being one little mistake like a zig to a zag, they look at it like it's sabotaging the whole plan, and then they kind of just throw in the towel there. And that's really a no-no, because, that's the truth. We're all human, and it doesn't mean that if you zigged a little way, you can't zag back, to use that term.
I'm definitely going to borrow that, my friend, because that's exactly what it is. A lot of times they want to just jump off the deep end, and it's not about that. It's really about, accepting where you are, being in that present moment of time, understanding where you are and where you want to go, and just getting back in the game.
Yeah, and I think that a large part of that is because of some of the emotions involved. And here we go. We're in New York, and we're moving toward November, December. It's going to be a pretty cold winter. A lot of people start thinking about comfort foods. And maybe it's unconscious. They just naturally gravitate towards some of these comfort foods. What do you say to some of those people who they associate these foods to warmth and friendliness and connection and all these good feelings? And then here you and I, guys like us, are talking about, lean proteins and vegetables, and somehow how can we help them understand that those foods can be comforting too during the holidays?
Oh, you know what? It comes down to being open-minded, and looking for alternatives that are not shortcuts. Because, yes, I love sweet potatoes, and I don't have them with a bunch of marshmallows and all this sugar on it. I love them just baked. But it took me time to have my palate become accustomed to eating healthier foods. And then I started to get open-minded to different herbs and using different nut oils. And when you do that, your culinary expertise just kind of increases. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to I'm not a chef, but I can get in the kitchen and make decent meals because they're simple. You use a few different spices. You use some healthy oils, and you experiment with certain things, and you'll learn that it doesn't take a culinary, chef to know how to make some good meals.
I think that's great, too. Yeah. Go ahead.
And there's so many resources out there. You probably have a ton of resources on your site. I have resources. You can Google healthy 10-minute meals right now, and I bet you a billion different blogs or articles will come up. So you just got to get over the excuse-itis and really get focused on what it is you want to attain in your life. Do you want to live a healthy, happy lifestyle, or do you want to live a diseased and sad life? And I know that's a little bit harsh, but you ask, how do I keep people motivated? Well, one of the ways I keep people motivated is I tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Your friends will tell you that everything's going to be okay. Go ahead and eat that chocolate cake. But the reason they're telling you that is because they want you to stay where they are, and that's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, too, with friends and family. I mean, it just takes a little bit of creativity, whether it's certain spices or certain recipes. There's a website, I don't know if you're familiar with it, it's called Yumly.com. And from what I understand with this website, I mean, you can type in like an ingredient that you have. Let's just say it's asparagus, for example. And it'll give you hundreds of recipes, healthy recipes that have different ways and unique things to do with asparagus. So I think those are the type of things, if you're really into comfort and just foods that make you feel good and cooking for the holidays with friends and family, then you do it in a way that you can get creative and have fun with them. Now, one thing that's great about what you guys do is you guys have the MetaBurn diet. It's a specific, you have specific meal plans. And I'd definitely like to make that accessible to some of our exclusive members. And how can that help them? What's in the MetaBurn diet plan, and how did you guys formulate that, and how does it work?
Great question. Thank you for that. Yes, I mean, the MetaBurn diet came from just basically almost 14 years of testing and experimenting with hundreds and hundreds of clients. And we found that there were basically three different programs that were super successful with men and women all over. And we knew that coming from our backgrounds of athletics and bodybuilding and overall the health and wellness, that no one diet was perfect. So we took the three that we thought were really clutch and we've seen have the best, which is carb cycling, paleo, and bodybuilding. And we took those diets and we blended it into a 3-step weight loss system designed to burn fat, but more importantly, boost your metabolism. And we went out there and tested it on myself and my coach Greg Califatic with nutrition, and we found that, wow, this is working. But then we understood that not only did you have to transition over a 12-week period from different plans, you had to have different phases of your exercise that went along with that plan so that you can get the best results. And that's what the MetaBurn diet is. It's really a scientific approach to weight loss, and you get the best secrets, within there.
Nice. So are these plans broken down into a certain amount of weeks? Are they broken down into a certain amount of meals per day? Or how do you arrange the meals?
We have a primer phase of the workout where we're priming the body to get ready. We call that the ignite phase, and that's where you want to get the body ready to burn fat. Then you're going to go into the excite phase, which is another 4 weeks, and that's going to get the metabolism ready. So everything we have in that phase is designed to boost your metabolism. From the foods we choose for you to eat, the meal plans that we created for you, and those meal plans aren't cookie cutter. We teach you in the MetaBurn diet how to change certain things in there specifically for you. So say we have a protein that you don't eat. Then we teach you how the right grammage, why we selected that protein, and how you can exchange it for another one. And then the third phase is what we call the liquefy. In this phase, you're going to be burning fat. Now, you've gone through, almost 8 weeks of training and nutrition protocols. You've lost weight. You're in shape. You can really get into this liquefy phase. And this is where we're going to do some of the carb cycling. And carb cycling is just a basic approach to when to eating carbs. So, I'll give you an example for those who might not know. Carb cycling, maybe on Monday you're going to take in 300 grams of carbohydrates. Tuesday you're going to take in 150. On Wednesday you're going to take in 50. Because you're working out, and all of the workouts are designed specifically for that date as well. So on certain days you need more carbohydrates. On rest days you don't need that many. But sometimes people will do nothing, no activity, burn no calories, and consume large amounts of processed carbohydrates. And that's where they get what we call fat spillover. So this diet is actually designed to eliminate that. Excuse me.
So, yeah, you've really got a way to kind of mitigate those ups and downs of those, extras that they don't need. It's great that you have that. So, man, I think we're coming to the end of the conversation here. So, is there anything you would like to summarize about how MetaBurn fat loss in your system works together, and especially as people approach the new year? Because, believe it or not, Rahz, there's some people who haven't started yet. And they're not going to really listen. They're going to start a new year. But what could you encourage them just with your whole system as we head toward the new year?
Well, I mean, I would encourage them to, take action now, whether it be with my program or yours. I really inspire and motivate them to take some action. Don't wait the next 30 days till the new year. And like everybody wants to wait till, January 1st, I'm going to get excited. I'm going to lose weight. This is the year. If you build momentum now, you'll be through your primer phase and you'll be rocking and rolling come January 1st and already have gone through the pain of working out, the diet shifts, the cravings, all the things. And if specifically if you were looking at the MetaBurn diet, I mean, we're going to give you, everything you need to know from Kitchen 101, the 21-day detox, which is a program that, if you understand what sugar is and what it does to your body and you eliminate it, wow, the results are amazing. So I would definitely say look into that. And you also want to just find a mentor, find a coach, whether it's me, Bayo, or anyone that's going to hold you accountable so that you can move forward with your goals in 2014 and 2015.
That's absolutely outstanding, Rahz. So give us where everyone can find you online, and then, we can make sure that I put that under the link here for the interview that we've done.
Sure. I'll give you two locations because for those who are on Facebook, you can find me over at facebook.com/MetaBurn FatLoss. That's MetaBurn FatLoss. That's the fan page. We're in there all the time. We do have a private group as well of just clients where we give a lot of high-end content to, but you can find us there, like the page, and get some of the free content. And then you can also find us at MetaBurnFatLoss.com. Now, that's our website where you can find out we do have a 5-day free fat loss course over there at MetaBurnFatLoss.com. And you can, if you're a male or a female, you can go there, click on the exact program, and you'll get a different 5-day fat loss course free. And just start to do that and let that give you a little bit of motivation and inspiration to move through these holiday seasons and feel great and get inspired to live a healthy, happy lifestyle.
And I'm sure that everyone who does will, and I really appreciate you taking the time with us today, Rahz.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me and allowing me to share just something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I love getting on and connecting with other enthusiastic and motivating health professionals like yourself.
Well, we really, really greatly know that this will make a big impact for everyone that's listening. So everyone, definitely take action. Let's make it a great time for this holiday season as we head to the new year. Thanks a lot, Rahz.
Thank you.